When does journalism become propaganda? Social media has created an interesting and problematic situation where snippets of news reporting can be turned into political ads. At a time when our Electoral Commission is cracking down on the speech of private citizens, how appropriate do you think it is for radical activist group Climate 200 to take articles from the ABC, the Sydney Morning Herald and the Guardian and use them for election material? Well, an exclusive investigation by Sky News Australia can reveal that Climate 200 is paying Facebook to promote the ABC when the articles are critical of the coalition. In March, you can see here that just a couple of $100 per post is pushing the ABC's content to thousands of new people. Imagine if your articles about how the coalition is responsible for climate change causing natural disasters are so one-sided that a political operation uses them for an ad. And although this is the worst case, as that article was paid for by you, the taxpayer, Climate 200 is using other left-leaning organisations in the same way. Even more money was paid by Climate 200 to promote these articles by the Sydney Morning Herald, which was extremely critical of the coalition's flood response. And this opinion piece on The Guardian was also used in a paid promotion by Climate 200. The PM calls this a natural disaster. It's not natural, it's climate change, smashing down our doors. Now, there is nothing illegal about what Climate 200 is doing, but surely our national broadcaster should be writing to this body and telling them to stop using their journalism to sway the election. You would also think that the Sydney Morning Herald, which carries the slogan "independent always" on the front page, would be equally incensed at their content being used in such a manner. But we suspect no one from either organisation will ring the alarm bells. And it also raises the question, if your reporting is so one-sided that political activists pay money to increase its reach, then you may have an issue with objectivity. Kel, your thoughts on this? Obviously, advertising on social media, it's not new in the sense of the electoral commissions. Do you think that it's appropriate for the ABC to sit by and let their reporting being used in that mechanism?
The military would call this a false flag operation.
Yes.
Right? And the false flag that's being flown is the word independent. When you think about how Climate 200 claims to be independent and all its candidates are independent, somehow it ties in with...
They're only coalition candidates.
That's right. When you were saying that, it suddenly occurred to me, that's what the Sydney Morning Herald has been claiming for years, independent always. We now understand the word independent's a false flag. Independent actually means green left. So now, we've worked out what the false flag actually stands for. But it's a real problem when what is supposed to be reporting media can be used by what is clearly a one-sided false flag operation to promote their cause. There's something wrong with that journalism. It is not good journalism.
Yeah, and Sophie, that's the point that I'm really interested in. These ABC journalists, I mean, look, it is straight down the line reporting from their point of view. It's not an opinion piece, but it's written in such a way, in such a hostile way to the coalition, that activist groups think that it's an ad. It's essentially an ad for them.
Frightening stuff, Jack. The public broadcaster is a known offender for this. Go back to straight reporting. This is where the media gets a bad name because there's so much partisan reporting out there. It's not straight down the line. And we all know that Climate 200, they're basically fake independents who are being bankrolled. They can spend their money how they wish. But I don't think the ABC would have a problem with this, sadly, because they would want their information out there peddled. And it falls in line with their agendas of pushing this climate change tragedy that they keep pushing day in, day out across all of their channels. So a real concern, though, for people digesting this information, Jack, as to whether they can actually determine what is news reporting and what is commentary, because there seems to be a blurring of the lines more and more across the channels from outlets such as the ABC.
Well said, and it also looks like the ABC is endorsing the views of Climate 200. It's not, obviously the ABC has no control over this in any other way that they could physically write to them, but for the average person looking at it, well, the ABC has endorsed this viewpoint. So it is very strange. Sophie, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Jack.
Kel Richards, it's always a pleasure. Thanks for
joining me. A delight, mate.